What's going on there, folks? Good evening. It is the Earthmaster here on this Tuesday, May 24th, 2022 date, about 8:07 p.m. West Coast time here in California. Latest quake shows a 2.1 earthquake out here around the region of Puerto Rico. Let's go ahead and jump over here to the latest map here from the USGS, showing some activity kicking up here around the globe. A lot of it here not showing up here within the last hour. We're going to go start off here on the PNSN network and show you guys the tremor activity that's been kicking up pretty significantly on the Cascadia subduction zone. And today, what have we got? 661 epicenters of tremor along the Cascadia subduction zone. That's a pretty significant number. And there is a little noticeable difference here with the tremor activity tonight. Starting to see a little migration of tremor working its way up from the north, or from the south up to the north on the southern end, and up here from the north to the south here on the northern end. So a little bit of filling in of the gap, so to speak, in terms of tremor activity. It's a pretty significant number. I want to show you guys over the last week time frame of tremor activity as far as the tally goes, and it's over 3,000 tremors. We're looking at 3,349 epicenters of tremor, not earthquakes. These are tremor, and this here is the M energy release, and all this activity is kind of like a vibrational frequency, if you will, between the two plates, the North American plate, and of course you got the Juan de Fuca plate offshore here along the west. And it's a pretty significant number, over 3,000 in a week time frame right here. And just notice that filling in, so to speak, of the migration of the quakes. Got to watch that pretty closely. I'm uncertain what it means, but obviously it's a pretty good number, and we're going to keep an eye on that pretty closely. When we see that broad scale like that from the north to the south, that's the entire, almost the entire length of the Cascadia subduction zone. Missing a little bit. Let's see here. Looks like we're kind of missing a little bit up here to the north, but not much. So I definitely say this covers almost the entire section of the Cascadia. All right, let's go ahead and check out the earthquake activity. I'm having a little bit of deja vu because it's where I've done this already. Actually, I have. For those of the ones that stuck around, this is take number 2, unfortunately. Sometimes we make mistakes in our updates. Activity. Okay, we got some movement at the Newberry Volcano. Newberry Crater, Newberry Volcano here in Oregon. Now notice the USGS not saying Newberry Volcano, they just have Oregon and east-southeast of the Three Rivers, Oregon area. But this is indeed activity right smack dab around the Paulina Lake, Newberry Volcano. Also some activity stretching up here into the Mount Hood region. and getting a couple earthquakes here at the summit. Very shallow earthquake movement, similar to what we're seeing down there in the Newberry area. Mount St. Helens, they're not showing anything, but I guarantee you there's definitely a lot of earthquake activity happening there at the Mount St. Helens region. We check that daily, twice a day actually, and the latest update this morning continued to verify that earthquake movement. Not a whole lot showing up here on the USGS map at all. It's almost 1 out of 20 earthquakes that do happen they decide to report on. Earlier today I was watching the Petrolia station here in Northern California. It showed some spikes on the live seismographs that we run here on the channel, but nothing to report from these guys. So there's definitely, we're noticing a lot of earthquake activity out here along the coast and also into the Cascades and the volcanoes. Whether it's volcanic or not, I don't know. It depends on how you want to look at it. Right now it just looks like some small microquake activity. Throughout the Wyoming area and the Yellowstone National Park, man, we checked this out already, but we're going to do it again. Goodness. A little bit of activity around the southwestern portion of Yellowstone National Park. You can see it there around the Pitchstone Plateau area, looking at little spiky earthquakes there over a short little time period, about 6 or 7 earthquakes back to back in a sequence. That's the earthquake activity, obviously, because it's showing up at Old Faithful, Little West Thumb, over here at the Promontory, and over here at Moose Creek as well. So a little bit of earthquake activity ramping up towards the southern end of the Yellowstone area. No major movement to report in this area right here. Definitely not ground movement. This is not uplift, and the ground's not turning upside down and lifting upside down, and that's not what's happening here. This is some type of technical error there at that seismograph. If this was indeed ground uplift and whatnot, it obviously would be showing in terms of large earthquake movement, which we don't see throughout the localized seismograph stations right next to this one that is malfunctioning. Let's go back here and look at the west coast. We'll go ahead and check out this activity here. Seeing a little bit of movement here in Northern California around the Sacramento River. Although this earthquake outside of Hamilton City, a 2.6, down there at about 24 kilometers, not associated with the Sacramento River, does not run that deep. In fact, it's pretty dry right now. There is water in the river, but man, not a lot. That earthquake, 24.7 kilometers there for a 2.6. Typical movement there south of Clear Lake. Aside from that, we're not noticing any significant swarming going on. There is a broad area of earthquake activity throughout Nevada and northwest of Las Vegas. A little bit of movement here off the coast of Santa Barbara with a 1.2 on the Montecito area. This is on the fault system called the Mesa Rincon Fault, Creek Fault. Is very short fault system, only 32 kilometers. Nearest communities include the Santa Barbara area. Looks like some recent activity, but only a very small accumulated stress rate. They're guessing at about 0.3 mm per year. That's not a lot. Interval between major ruptures are uncertain, and probable magnitudes appear to be 6.0 to 7.0, with possibly some responsibility for any of several notable earthquakes in the Santa Barbara area since records have been kept. So uncertainty on that specific fault, but there is movement taking place on that nonetheless. A little activity along the San Jacinto fault zone. Aside from that, man, not a whole lot going on around the southern Cal area. Most of it's inland into the Great Basin area. Getting a little bit of movement outside of Salt Lake City with a little 2.1 near the Magna, Utah area, 11 kilometers for that earthquake. Throughout Arizona, New Mexico, getting a little bit of movement kicking off here across the southern plains. No significant activity. One earthquake here north of Boston into the New Hampshire area with a 2.2 near the Wolfboro area of New Hampshire. 2.9 kilometers for that earthquake. Way up north here into the region northeast of Greenland. Still getting some activity kicking up here with a 5.0 and a 4.2. This area has seen a little bit of swarming here over the last week, including some other 4s and 5s in the mix, including a 5.8. So this is a divergent plate boundary up here, meaning the seafloor is separating. Last time we've seen this, we've seen a pretty large uptick in movement along the western portion of the Pacific Plate and into the Fiji Islands area. So got to watch that pretty closely. Uncertain if it's going to be a repeat, but nonetheless, noticing a trend of activity up there to the north. Puerto Rico area, a little activity north of the Dominican Republic region and the southwestern edge of Puerto Rico. No major swarm to report in the Puerto Rico area, aside from that typical movement. A little noticeable movement around the Peru-Chile Trench with a couple of 4s and 5s kicking off here throughout the morning and the afternoon time frame. Latest 5.4 at 148 kilometers there into the Peru region, which is the Peru-Chile Trench. One area that has been showing quite a bit of uptick is the Fiji Islands area into the Tonga Trench and the Kermadec Trench, with a couple of these earthquakes down there below the 500 kilometer threshold, looking pretty deep for this activity just outside of Tonga, and minimal movement throughout the Indonesia area and across Taiwan up through Japan. Just a couple spotty earthquake activity throughout the western portion of the Philippine Plate and the Pacific Plate. One earthquake here earlier, much earlier in Afghanistan, and an earthquake here in Greece. This originally came in as a 5.0, downgraded to a 4.7. One earthquake earlier today as well in the Zimbabwe area. 4.8 at 10 kilometers there. Aside from the movement up north and the Towards the Arctic Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean looks pretty calm and clear. Not a whole lot going on there throughout the region. Hawaii did see some activity throughout the day today. No major changes at any of the volcanoes currently. All confined here to the southeastern region of the Big Island and right around Kilauea Volcano. No abnormal changes to any of the volcanoes according to the HVO, Hawaiian Volcano Observatory folks there. Tremor map tonight was pretty, definitely pretty amplified, right? 661 epicenters of tremor on a broad scale. Want to check out the volcanic seismicity map here at, we'll start at the Newberry volcano since that is showing activity here. It's kind of weird. They completely shut off the Mount St. Helens reporting. And I don't know why. I mean, it's not scary. Yes, there's a swarm of activity about St. Helens, but it's not something that's gonna, I don't think, freak people out. So let's go ahead and check out around the Apollina Lake with this seismograph station here. It's a 3-component broadband on the north rim of the Newberry volcano. This is the seismograph readings here. Obviously, I can see a couple earthquakes already. A couple very, very small ones within the last couple hours. I want to check out the afternoon time frame and the early evening and see what is being reported here on this graph. Stand by for just a second. And yeah, wow, look at that one. That's a well-defined earthquake. Hold on a second here. Let me see again what these guys were reporting for that magnitude. That kind of looks a little bit larger. Let's see, a 1.2 at 2043. So 1.2 at 2043 UTC time, 2043. So that's a 1.2. A couple other smaller earthquakes in there as well. So no major swarming going on. Just a little bit of uptick, right? A little bit of activity kicking up throughout the Cascade Volcanoes. We'll head up to Mount Hood. Same for right here. We got a little activity kicking up here, and they're reporting it. The PNSN and the USGS reporting this very small activity. Unfortunately, let's see if we can get this palm. I do not like this. I already checked it. I remember it's out of whack. Well, whoa! It's actually working tonight. Normally I skip it because it starts to show a bunch of odd activity, which isn't volcanic or earthquake in nature. Just kind of looks like mechanical issues. But here at the top of Palmer Lift at Mount Hood, definitely showing a little spiky earthquake activity there in the blue. Let's go back and check out the afternoon time frame. See, this is, yeah, that's wow. Obviously and this is why I don't like checking the station, because there's always some type of outside interference. So we're going to go to the, unfortunately, we're going to have to go to the next closest one, which may be this one down here, Timberline, Oregon area, to monitor this activity and see what's going on. Let's check out the afternoon time frame. There's always interference going on here at the volcanoes. Whether it be ski lifts or machinery, who knows what. Unfortunately, I'm not up there to check it out. Let's see what we got here. Earthquake activity, I'm not really seeing it. All these right here, I'm uncertain on what they are. I'm sure there's still quite a bit of snow up there. Let me check this station out here towards the northwest and see Yoakum Ridge. This one here is a little bit more well defined. See if we can spot some earthquake activity a little bit. Doesn't look like there's any outside interference here with this seismograph. Thank you. But there's definitely a couple small earthquakes, and those are probably the ones being reported. You can see those very small throughout the area of Mount Hood region. Let's go ahead and move up north to the Mount St. Helens area, where still they put the earthquake reporting on a pause. Nothing being reported since the 13th, but man, check any of my videos here over the last few days, and I'll put a put a damper on their reporting, because there's definitely a lot of earthquake activity kicking up here at the Mount St. Helens region. September low, but Mount St. Helens dome station, obviously within the last couple hours. What do you guys see? Earthquake activity, nothing major. Those are all small microquakes. Look at the afternoon and morning and early evening time period. Where's the reporting, folks? Where's the transparency? Come on, PNSN, USGS. I know there might be some ice quakes and snow quakes, but this is earthquake activity, obviously. These are well-defined earthquakes. And right at the summit, or the crater, and right at the very top there of Mount St. Helens, there's a bunch. There is a bunch. You guys see all that? It's a lot of activity. Again, I believe looking at these seismographs, they are all below probably the 1.5 threshold. So yeah, it's very possible they may have queued up their 2.0 threshold to where anything below that does not get reported. It's a very possible, good possibility. But that's kind of why I'm here to point this out, that there's definitely earthquake activity there at Mount St. Helens, and it's numerous, and it's been going on here for a couple weeks now. Okay, let's check out the Mount Rainier region, since they have been reported. It seems like almost all the volcanoes except for Mount St. Helens are reporting. That's so odd. So Mount Rainier, we'll check out. Is this the one I want to check out? Let me see here. Camp Muir? Yeah. This looks pretty decent in terms of monitoring ground movement. Low earthquake activity here over the last couple hours. Yeah, stand by. Aside from that, definitely a little small earthquake activity, but nothing significant. We would definitely notice it. These are very, extremely small, like very, very small earthquakes. But other than that, no major swarms going on there at Mount Rainier. Let's see, what else do we have here, folks? Earthquakes Canada map did show a little bit of earthquake activity into the area out here in the western BC region. It kicked up a little earthquake, a 2.0, near the Port McNeill area. That one earlier today at about 10 kilometers. Nothing going on here across the northern end of the Cascadia subduction zone currently, but we are noticing that tremor obviously here throughout that entire region of the subduction zone, picking up pretty nicely. Solar weather activity. Go ahead and kick that up here. I'm just kind of periodically checking my OBS software because this is the second update I've done tonight. I did a pretty good 20-25 minute update just to come to find out that it was only showing the live stream. It wasn't showing everything that you guys are viewing right now. So it's unfortunate. Sometimes these issues arise, but that's kind of why if you hear me pause, it's because I'm looking here, making sure my OBS software is working properly like it should be doing. We did see a little bitty tiny flare earlier, a C flare kick up. Not a big one at all, folks. There was a possible CME produced on the far side of the sun, not directed at Earth. Not for certain which specific sunspot that occurred from, but definitely not anywhere near Earth or facing the Earth. Current sunspots that are facing us are very weak and wimpy, to say the least here. Not a whole lot of potential from any of those sunspots at all. These guys dropping down to 95% chance of C flare, dropping down to 35% chance, and a 5% chance for an X flare, but man, that doesn't look very likely at all. No major storming to report. It looks like there may be a little bit of amplification on the 3-day geomagnetic and aurora forecast around the end of late May 26th, early May 27th UTC time, as I believe we had a little bit of CME activity kick up from some a little bit of coronal hole activity Going to be these facing us right now, 84, 85, and a little bitty one down to the south, but mainly these two that could provide us with a little bit of amplified solar wind, creating possible storming conditions there at the higher latitudes. Only a 40% chance, so not a big deal. Things have been pretty weak, to say the least, here in terms of solar activity. But there was, this update came out just a little bit ago. A spectacular eruption was observed within the past few hours, originating from behind the northeastern limb, so way away from us. A coronal mass ejection will be associated, but will be directed away from Earth. This is from the GO-16 imagery. Earth-facing solar activity remains at low levels with only minor C flares. But look at that. Why can't that be Earth-facing? Why is that not facing the Earth when that happens? Why do we get these little wimpy spots? Come on, let's do this already. Current conditions here look pretty minimal, folks. Not a whole lot going on. Density has dropped like a rock. The speed has dropped as well. Not a whole lot going on in terms of any type of solar activity, at least Earth-directed. So, what else do we have, folks? I think that's about it, man. Gosh darn it. Put this update, my last update together, and it's well over an hour long. But looks like I better, yeah. I almost thought I didn't hit the record button on this update. But looks okay. It definitely looks okay. So, I'm going to mention it again here at the end of the video. For the next couple nights or so, we're rolling out a special member option for the super fans. If you want to become a super fan here of the channel, you're welcome to join on the main YouTube page here of the Earthmaster. We are just rolling it out, so there's not a whole lot of extra videos right now to those members, but we are going to be putting that into action here real soon. And some of that video, don't worry, nothing's going to change with our typical updates or anything for normal subscribers. This is just going to be provided to people that may want to see, I don't know, kind of more on the personal side here on this side of the microphone, whether it's family related, weather related, sunset related, localized activity, and all of that video activity will be without ads to those members that join. That's one thing I won't put on the videos for the members, the special members, is ads on the videos. But it is kind of cool. You know, we'll do pictures and extra posts to those that do join the channel. You get a special icon, custom emojis, and perks and whatnot. It should be pretty cool. I'm just rolling it out, and there's actually been quite a few people that have joined already, so I do appreciate that. That's extra support here for the channel, and that's it's very important. YouTube sees that as a positive aspect here for this channel, and it does help out the algorithms when people do those special the joins to be a super fan, and also just in general donations and whatnot here to the channel, and that's pretty important for YouTube getting out this channel and the information that we provide here to all the viewers. But yeah, look forward to some more stuff there. The members, like I said, there's not a whole lot right now, but it's coming. It's definitely coming. Tomorrow's supposed to be 105, 106. What do we got right now? 95 degrees still outside. Pretty hot, dry. I've been staying inside a lot because I can't stand the heat right now. It's absolutely horrible. Had a couple fires around me. Had one fire just north of me, about 10 miles or so. Luckily, they got it out. There's no major current fires throughout California right now, which is good. I definitely don't want to jinx it. Let's see if we can get this map to key up, hopefully. Maybe not. Doesn't look like it's going to. But that's kind of odd. Looks like only a couple fires here. River fire, Edward fire. This was the Edward fire here outside in Northern California earlier. That has since been, I believe they've squashed that. River fire at 200 acres and 20% contained. That looks like Colusa County, north of Colusa, Highway 45 and Brown Road, 200 acres burned. That's kind of odd because it's just weird how all these fires are starting. Yes, we got a dry north wind and low humidity, but man, I mean, the wind and heat doesn't start fires. It doesn't happen. So I'm kind of uncertain as to what's going on here, you know. But look at that Petrolia. See, guys? Look on the Petrolia station. See that? I've been noticing that throughout the day today, and I'm sure you guys have too, as if you're watching the live stream. That's an earthquake. Not a big one, but there's earthquake activity occurring on the Petrolia station. They're at the southern end of the Cascadia. And there's been quite a few throughout the day today, but nothing being reported by the USGS or anyone for that matter. So I'm disappointed in the USGS and the agency right now for failing to report all earthquake data. You know, transparency is pretty important when it comes to bonding the public with these government agencies, and they're not doing a great job right now of creating that bond. So anyway, I'm here to provide that data to you guys and to update you guys on any obvious earthquake activity there on the map. So, all right, I'm going to bounce out of here. What have we got? 26 minutes. Woo! More like an hour, considering this is my second update. All right, guys, have a good night. Please stay safe out there. And like I said, there's no obligation to join the channel. It's just a super fan option. And, you know, if you guys want to, then you guys will be provided some extra perks and some extra video of course, me and Miss Mimi's and whatnot. And who knows what, might break out singing or dancing, which I won't show that on my normal videos. So we'll see how it goes, guys. All right. Have a good night. Stay safe. We will chat you guys a little bit later on. Peace out, everyone. Have a good night.